Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome
That's
back to
right.
another episode of Conversations with Core KWK and Tafari Solutions. Happy
Uh-huh.
Thursday, everybody. May 7th, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yo, it was just January.
Really, literally. Like it's May and it feels like August. Like it's giving like not even it's giving like fall.
Yeah, the weather just doesn't want to know what it wants to do. But hey,
Yes, it
we go.
is.
This is like business, right? You got your
Yeah.
sunny days, you got your cloudy days, you got your rainy days, you got your hot days, your cold days, your
The
lukewarm
drought.
days. Yeah, right. You just you just
Let
gotta
the
be
rain
ready
come.
for
Jesus, let the rain come.
it. You just gotta be ready for it, right? You know. So how was your how's your week been? How's it been since the last KWK? But how's everything going?
Whoo, chat. Everything is great. Just, you know, I was talking to somebody and um we were talking about wealth and how they were like, I am wealthy. I have a wealth of time and and the freedom to do what I want when I want, go where I want to go. I can be in sunlight for as long as I want. Um and I can show up and support my kids and like so I'm feeling wealthy in spite of everything going on. I'm feeling very quiet and abundance of wealth
Nice.
and freedom, which is
Nice.
good. But it comes at a cost. Now that's for sure.
It ain't free.
It comes with a cost.
It is not free at all, right? So but freedom of choice and freedom to decide on your own time.
Hmm.
That's the game changer. Sprinkle in a little bit of expendable change after you done paid your primaries is a
Okay.
good thing, right?
It
Sprinkle
is.
in a little change to help others and to give back, or
Yes.
to help you be in a place so you can spend your time to give back and help others, or pay it
That
forward.
part.
I would say, not give it back, right? Because most times people say giving back, but what did you take? You didn't take anything. You just giving it forward, paying it
Mm.
forward, foresight. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I get that. That's something we talk about a lot. Me and my partners and in my circle of people. It's about freedom. That's what we seek in here, right?
Hmm.
Um, because certain things that tie you down, then you don't have freedom,
That's
right?
true.
And it's kind of like what we about to slide in and talk about today. Today's topic is something that I've been tooling around with for I come across it all the time, every day, right? Being in
Well,
the
are you
in
going to
the
tell me how you've been doing, or we're just going to jump into the topic?
oh yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Just had a born day. I don't really say that much, but I just had a
that's a
born
good
day.
day.
Yeah, yeah, I just
Is
had
it
a born
boring?
day. Born day,
Oh
born.
my goodness.
Birthday.
I would love some more boring days. My goodness.
No, born, birthday, born. I say born.
Oh, my bad.
People
It's
say
it's the
birth.
accent.
Yeah, people say birthday, right? So, but it's not my birthday. It's my mother's birthday. It's the day she gave birth. So it's her birthday. I was born on that day. So that's the proper way to position it. At least, corrected by my aunts, right? They always say
Tomato,
it's not your birthday,
tomato.
it's your born day. Right? So yeah, so I had a born day. It was cool. So that was cool. Got a chance to chill out with the family. Family did
Yeah,
some things. We was in the backyard over the weekend, just chilling out, throwing stuff on the grill. Um,
that's
and then
nice.
as far as business is concerned, businesses business is always interesting,
It
right?
is. So interesting. What is
Especially
happening?
from the aspect of how we deal with business and how we deal with clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the main approach, or our foundational approach, um is always based on metrics or money, you know,
Mhm.
and how people have relationships with certain things as business owners, right? Particularly money, right? And if
Mhm.
you don't have a good relationship with money, 9 times out of 10, you don't have a good relationship with operations either, right?
That's a good point.
Um, yeah. So there's no secret. I'm in the accounting industry as well. Do Hayward CPA. So we're advisory tax firm, pro business firm, and so over the years, the consultations, the calls is always, people want to save money, they don't want to pay this amount of taxes, so on and so on and so forth, and we get those individual comments. But business wise, we run across where there's a lot of missing pieces. Business plan, particularly accounting systems, things like that, right? And so we're always trying to turn the tide to help people get situated or create foundations for them. And through the work of biz therapy and the programs that we provide, the workshops, the one-on-ones, then we have the newly founders hour, um, for everyone to kind of just jump in and have straight talk conversations. There's always a rumination of this one particular concept, right? So today's topic is really is I thought I needed a team before I needed a coach,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Because most people go, "Oh, I need a lawyer. I need a." Then when they call in, I need a CPA. Somebody told me I need to get a CPA
Yeah.
on my team, right? You hear that a lot, right?
Yeah.
I need strategy. I need a marketing person. I need this. I need that. When in actuality, um, you need a foundation.
Yeah, for
Now,
sure.
and so the coaching there's different types of coaching, obviously. There's different types of business support. Um, but the coaching, foundational coaching is what's important. And what I mean foundational coaching is this. Um, when you get up in the morning, or you're in mid-morning work mode, or midday email, phone call, uh, conversations, later in the afternoon, whatever type of situation, these are the times where there's doubt that kicks in, there's frustration that kicks in, there's fatigue that kicks in, there's uncertainty that kicks in, right? And so if you have the proper foundational coaching, you can create or develop yourself a system that will allow you to get through it, because you can't get past your feelings if you don't know how to get through it.
That's the
And
truth.
right?
Did you
What
did
do you
you
think?
start off with a coach before the other team and all that stuff?
Man, I've had coaches all my life.
Mm. Yeah, when
And
I look in retro, I did the same. I had a coach first before had built this team.
I've always had coaches. I didn't let me answer it this way. My coaches, how I was brought up and the people were around were my coaches. Because
Mm-hmm.
there was always lessons being taught, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I got into I've always been in business development, right? My background is architecture, construction, so I understand, foundation and structures, right? The principalities of it. But when I got into business development years, sales and business development years and years ago, every day you do have a coach, which is your boss or your sales manager or your business development manager, right? Um, but every day is a new day for you. Every single day is because you got to beat your previous day numbers. And then you have a number to meet at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so that's a constant rinse and repeat every single day. Even on the weekends, if you're off on the weekends, you still have to prepare for when you get back on the line. What do your numbers look like? Because you got to meet your numbers. Because I worked in high revenue generating atmospheres that if you didn't hit your numbers within like 90-day period, you're on probation. And after that next 30 days, after you go through some real intense coaching and training and you still not hitting your numbers, it's really your fear, your doubt, something that's kicking in that's not allowing you to get
Mhm.
past it. And then they walk you out the door. So I've always had coaches. Now when I started getting into more of the business aspect and what I was going to go after, yeah, definitely mentors, coaches. Sometimes I had mentors that didn't even know they were mentoring me.
Yeah, for sure. I've had
Right.
that.
Yeah, but you always, and yeah, and so even up to today, yeah, I have a core of 5 people that are they my go-tos.
Mhm.
It don't matter what the idea is, and pretty much at any given time of the day or night, I'll text them, call them, and it's a conversation, and then it unfolds into things, right? And so, the support comes before the growth. And so how in your business, and what is it similar that you run up against this kind of a thought process? What is it, and how do you handle that?
That's interesting. I think um when I think back to when I started, I would say I did a couple things simultaneously. So I had someone on my team for marketing, and I had my coach and mentors. Um, and so it was like getting the courage to continue to put myself out there. I needed somebody who could provide a foundation for me to kind of ground myself in, like, who am I? Why am I doing this? What do I value? Why is this even important to me? Because sometimes you can get to doing stuff and it doesn't have a rhyme or reason. It's just like, hey, I posted, I put myself out, but am I really selling? You know, and so I would say, I think coaching is so worth the investment. I really didn't learn much about it until later on in my adulthood. Like, I didn't even know this was a thing. All I thought was coaching was in high school or college and, younger. And then I just thought it was athletics. But I didn't realize, like, you could have a life coach, somebody who is there with you on the journey of you finding your why, you identifying your purpose, you stepping into your calling confidently. And so there are some people who, a lot of people I've talked to, they've never experienced coaching. They've experienced mentorship, they've experienced therapy. And so I would like to even address the fact of what is coaching. Coaching, and I preface people with this is my approach. When we talk about therapy and coaching, I'm going to take right where you're at, right here, right now, where you're trying to get to, and we're going to address everything in between that. Therapy is going to dive more into your past makeup, your family issues from, just childhood traumas, and they're going to do some diagnosing of you as well. Coach, I'm not trying to, I know you crazy. How do I know everybody crazy? Okay. So I'm not trying to diagnose you. But what I am trying to do is help you create a new narrative, a new reality for yourself, to dispel any myths or lies that you keep repeating over and over in your head about what you can't do, what you won't do, what you shouldn't do, what you couldn't do. And then let's talk about what's on the opposite end of that. If you could, you will, you can, you should. What does that look like, and help you get closer to that? So I think people need to understand. They for some people, they may not understand until you actually experience it. But when I say it is life changing, like, it will. I had a client who went from no house to a house, from no car to a car. And she thanks me all the time, like, Timette, thank you so much. You really changed my life. And I'd be like, dang, girl, you did that. I mean, you did the work. You know what I'm saying? But we had to start here with dreaming without limits and understanding that you have access to abundance. And so these limits sometimes are just self-imposed,
Yeah,
and we got to break free from that.
yeah. No, that's some good insight because I was gonna say pretty much the same thing. Coaching lends itself to, like, what are you building, right? How are you building it? What stages are you truly at, right? And so for me, through biz therapy, um, coaching, by the way, I kind of fell into that because I started out as a consulting, and I still do a lot of consulting with my other organization, or my other company, I should say. And people used to just keep saying to me, like, "Yo, why don't you teach this stuff? Because you do it good, and the way you explain things makes sense, right?" And people walk away with, you turn from intangible conversation to tangible assets, or a tangible process, or a tangible structure, right? And so that's kind of how I unfolded and got into that. And I took me some time to really understand the approach that I needed to take. But I tell people I'm biz therapy myself. I needed me. I needed what I offer, right? And so it
Mhm.
grew into a business. It grew into a brand, really, right? Next topic, at a later time, is brand versus business. But anyway,
Mhm.
um, so I grew into it, and there's a system in place. There's a program in place that has shown. We call this proof of concept over and over and over and over again. And
Yeah.
so, and so it's about seeking clarity, right? Coaching
Yes.
helps you with seeking clarity. It helps you to position not only your feet, but how do you think about things, right?
Mhm.
And it addresses your belief system that correlates with your behavior, which
Mhm.
correlates with how you make decisions, right?
Yes. Yes,
Um,
that's powerful.
and then be able to take the proper action steps, because the world is full of programming. We're programmed to believe X, and
Mhm.
especially for people that go from working to business owner, entrepreneur,
Ooh-wee.
founder, there's a transition there.
It is.
You're no longer, and I just went through this the other day with somebody. you know um just because you go get an EIN, though, you're not doesn't make you a business owner,
Mm-mm.
right? It doesn't make you an entrepreneur. It doesn't make you somebody successful just because you have an EIN number, right? It's
Mhm.
okay. What am I selling?
Mhm.
Who am I selling to? Why am I selling? So the
Mhm.
transition from is when you work for a company, you already have a structure in place. Here's your job description. Congratulations if you get promoted. You're still in a job description. You take your previous experiences and it builds, but you're still stuck in the structure that's already created for you. As a business owner, you're always working on the framework, and you got to be the creative person in the middle. Hence why a lot of people get stuck, because they're building out whatever the framework is, and then they try to be creative or develop something, and they get stuck along the way.
And that's the thing, like that's why I feel like coaching comes in to help when you do get stuck. It's when, because it's going to happen. How do you get unstuck? How do you break free out of this Charlotte's web? You know, and that's where your relationships, your the investment in in what type of relationships that you have. And so coaching is an investment, just like therapy, just like someone on your marketing team or accounting team or your doctor, right? These are investments. But like I said, it is well worth it because it ain't nothing like getting a glimpse of the end of what you're supposed to be doing, but you are cemented. And while you can see what's on the horizon, the steps that you're taking to get there, you're not moving. And day after day goes by, week after week goes by, and you still in the same spot, but you have the vision, like you can see it, but you're just not taking the steps towards it. And there's so many people struggling with that. And you got to talk to somebody, because until you do, you're going to keep ruminating in your head um so many different excuses, so many so much grief and anxiousness and guilt. And it's like, release yourself of those things and talk to somebody, have a real conversation about you. How often do we get to do that? Really talk about what we got going on, and are we in alignment with the things that we desire?
Yeah, I call it FUD: fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Okay, talk about it. Fear, uncertainty, and
Fear,
doubt.
fear, FUD, like fear, the fear of, fear of. What is the fear? Fear, most fear is rejection, first of all. We don't never
Yeah.
want to be rejected, right? Then it's fear of ourselves, how great we can be. Fear of our decisions because we're not really sure, right? So
Mm-hmm.
uncertainty is like, if I make this decision, what's going to happen? If I don't make this decision, what's going to happen, right? And then the doubt: am I capable? Am I built? Do I have enough value in me to deliver?
Mm.
And them things, as you get older, you kind of pass through a different phase where like middle, like you're in your early 20s, 30s. You pass through it in all phases, but I think in your mid 20s and 30s, teenage years, you're just surfing that FUD wave in all different kinds of ways, just trying to make sure you ground yourself, right?
So,
And so,
what's the way out of it, Corey?
what's the way out of it? You just said the word: invest in yourself, but I'm gonna go just a little bit deeper.
Okay.
Personal development.
Yeah.
Personal development, right? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear, right?
Okay.
So personal development is the way. And so what does that mean? You should be focused on trying to be better at least 1% every day in certain areas, right?
Mm.
Reading, writing, right? In one of my courses and my sessions, I should say, is we talk about time, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually ask people to define what time is and show me your calendar. How do you use your time, right? And a
Mm.
lot of a lot of calendars show schedules. They show things that need to get done or to be attended to, right?
Mm-hmm.
None of them show a block of time for focus. Nothing is happening except
Mm.
you and whatever it is you need to sharpen yourself at.
Let me put that on my calendar. Focus. I like that one.
Right? So
I ain't
so
got that.
right? So they say, like, in business, there's a book called Profit First, Pay Yourself First, right?
Yeah.
But when you wake up, are you giving yourself time first?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And some people say, yeah, I get up early before everybody and get my head together, and I get the kids out and do this and do that and do this and do that. But okay, routinely, that's time so you can get ready for your day for others. But are you really, really investing time in yourself for specific things?
We gotta fight hard to focus. Like, there's so many distractions. There's so many things that want to keep us unfocused. Like, I'll be in my phone trying to focus, emailing. You get ready to do an email, go to LinkedIn for something right quick. Next thing, I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Oh, let me get back to this email. Right. So there's so many things trying to keep our focus that scream for our attention. And so how do you resist? What
So
are
it's
some
not.
things?
I don't think it's resisting it, right? So what I still do to this day is, like, I actually catch myself doing that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it
Mm-hmm.
starts here, and I'm going through. So it's like, all right, I look at my to do list and I go through. All right, what I have to do. Look at my calendar. Try to get my whole itinerary for the day set,
Right.
and
So you
even
set a plan. Okay.
yeah, set a plan, go through it, right? Usually the night before,
Right.
just to go over it, because you're not going to spend a lot of time philandering around just before you're trying to go down to take a
Yeah.
nap, right?
That's true.
So, but when I'm working through things, even now I go, wait a minute. Because I used to write down every time I got distracted.
Mm. Write down every time, like tally it.
Just I'll just have
Oh
look because I always keep
my
my
gosh,
pad with me,
I need to
right?
try
And
that.
I initially started writing down things that would throw me off during the day. Like I already know certain distractions are gonna come, right?
Mhm.
Dogs, family, phone ringing, somebody needs something. There's always something, right? But that wasn't even the real gist of my distractions. The distractions was everything I thought I needed to get done or to work on for that day,
Um,
right? And so I started right. So I started observing myself, and I'm like, okay, I got to work on the website. I got to work on this content. I got to work on this. Oh, I got to circle back to this because I need to build this strategic relationship. So I just had a quick thought that I need to get to this person. I need to do this, and I need to do this.
mhm,
And I need to right. So
mhm.
now what I do is I go, okay, what is priority? What is needs to get done? What needs to go in the parking lot, right? And then I go, what needs to be consistent? And how often is consistent? Now, this is a constant thing. It's always changing. So it's never perfect. But it's being aware of these things. Awareness is the first I would say um the first thing to becoming better at what you're trying to do or what you're trying to become,
Absolutely.
right?
You gotta know
And
what's
so
up.
yeah, and so now, so like yesterday, I'm working on I was writing yesterday, right? After going through my emails, so I had my emails, I had a couple calls, right? And then I was writing yesterday and my thoughts it went to today, it went to some social media stuff, it went to a couple proposals, right? And it just started going all over the place. So I started writing down, okay, this, and it took me, a minute, 60 seconds to write down all those distracting thoughts. Then I
Mm.
finished writing what I needed to write, and I went back. I spent 5 minutes on what I wrote down as distracting, and then I went to my calendar, I went to my to-do list, and I'm like, okay, let me put these things here, and I'm going to block off time to focus on those things
Oh, I like that.
so I could get back to what I had on my list for me to complete today.
Yeah, that's a really good
Right?
flow
And
system.
so yeah, and so that in itself is frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
but
It is,
but
but
the
that's good.
but the fact of being aware, again, you could do something about it, because you shifted from a feeling, like a
Mm.
somatic body feeling, to a thought awareness. I'm aware of
Yes.
my behavior. Do I need to change it? Do I need to address it and change it, or do I just need to change it just completely, or do I need to just ignore it? So let's
Yeah, I
start
write
there.
with stuff. Yeah,
Hmm.
I think that's a good place to start for sure.
Yeah, and if you have a really good um, good coach, good system, you can talk. It's about talking these things out, right? And again,
Yeah.
that's why we have Founders Hour every other Thursday. At 1 o'clock, which for those listening today, that'll be next Thursday, right?
Mhm.
Um, it's a place where you can have like-minded conversations. Like-minded meaning you're a seeker. You're seeking to better yourself, and when you better yourself, you can better your business. And if you better your business, you empower your people you work with. You empower
Yeah.
your partners. You empower your clients or your customers. So,
Mhm.
Founders Hour allows you to relate with other founders, questions, thoughts, scenarios, situations that you're going through, that you may or somebody else went through, and you could probably see that over the horizon. You like, oh, let me get some inside information so I could kind of cut that off at the head. Right?
Mhm.
So it's as well as for yourself, right? You have your group your monthly, right? Group.
Yeah, growth check. And I actually have something called Focus First coming up. So it's one of those things, 3 weeks, we'll be talking about, hey, first thing we need to do is focus so we can execute. And we'll talk about what that looks like collectively as a group. So I'm very excited about that 3 week
Nice, nice,
cohort that'll be
nice,
coming
nice,
up.
nice. Well, just to kind of share in that, so biz therapy it's part of the one of the workshops is the second piece is to where's your focus, where's your aim. You know, the
Mm-hmm.
top three sessions is time, focus, and frustrations. We talk
Mm-hmm.
about those things. There's a system in place. We walk through it, we talk through it, we document, and we keep it moving, right? But
Mm-hmm.
to any great coaching program, if you really paying attention, at the end of it, you'll come out with an operations manual for yourself and your business.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, we talked about personal operating systems in the previous episodes, and then business systems, which we're always going to be talking about, right? But you come out with an operational manual
Yeah,
based off
that's
of
good.
all everything you go through. You know, it now is it something that's clear? Maybe, maybe not. But if you're thinking about it for yourself, then you have that thought process. How can I use these opportunities, these sessions, these networking calls, these check-in calls? How do I use those things to create me a manual, not just for yourself, for the business and anybody else that come behind you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, y'all come back and check us out next week. No, 2 weeks from now, next week for the Founders Hour. And then we'll be back here on
The week
Conversations
after.
with Four
The
and
week
Safari
after.
Solutions the week after.
Yeah, yeah. So I got something else I want to throw up in the air. Were you good?
Let's knock it out.
Okay. Business versus a brand.
Okay, we're doing that this week.
We can just do a little teaser on it
Okay.
because that was a topic, and it kind of aligns with what we talked about here today, right? Um, what's the difference? I'm gonna throw it out there like that. What's the difference?
I think, Corey, that would be something good to leave the people with is thinking about what's the difference between a business and a brand. If you're here live and active and you see this, comment difference between a business and a brand. What are your thoughts? Is there a difference?
Hmm.
I
I
think
like
there is.
that. I like that. I like that. Don't rush through. Don't rush through the thought, through the question. Right? Take time. Take your time to think about that question deeply. And people, you can Google and do whatever you want to do to come up with the answer. But the answer is directly related to who you are
Mm,
and
that's
why
true.
you're in business. There's a generalization. What's the difference between a business and a brand? Overall, high level, there's a difference, but it's directly related to why you're in business. That makes
Yeah.
the difference to why you're in business.
And coaching helps you uncover those things because trying to cipher that through yourself can be a challenging at different points of your growth. And so having a coach at any stage of your growth, any stage of your journey is necessary. Absolutely necessary. Mm-hmm.
And not to take away that there's no need for other professionals, right?
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
right?
And
Because
you're a
even with
fool if you don't.
yeah, having an attorney, having a CPA, having an accountant, a bookkeeper, right? Though
Very
very,
least.
very,
You need
very, very important, very important. However, most of the time, most of those people provide a service, right? They're not necessarily coaching you through anything. They'll advise you and they'll say, "Hey, I
that's
see
true.
this and I see that. You should do this and should do that. This is the standard. This is the compliance. Super great. You need those things because that's how business is set up, right? But
Mm-hmm.
but be your own coach first. Be your own coach first, so you know what kind of coaching to look for. You know what kind of coaching you align with. You know what resonates with you, whether you feel comfortable or uncomfortable. Be your own coach first, because there's going to be uncomfortable times. You just got to hear the truth. You just got to go through it, but you'll get through it. And the only way to get
Absolutely.
through it is to go through it. So yeah, that's how it goes.
All
That's
right.
how it goes. So we're gonna give everybody back some time here today. Got a couple of meetings coming up. I got a pretty busy Thursday. How about you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So listen, we want to appreciate everybody jumping on the call, on our live, watching our live. If you haven't yet, and you will be, thank you for taking the time out. Please shoot us some
Absolutely.
questions. Go to our websites. Shoot us some questions. Again, info@biztherapy.info is an email. I need to put that on the screen. I'll get that up inside of the box for you guys. Or otherwise, you could go to our websites and schedule a consultation, and they're free. And let's have a conversation and see where you are and how we can help you move forward in life. Um, and don't forget to check out Founders Hour. Go to @Biz Therapy Coaching, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and you sign up. Grab the sign up link for there, and you'll announce yours on your social feeds as well, right?
Yeah. Follow me at Tafari Unlocked.
Cool,
Tafari Unlocked. Website at the bottom. Look
cool
forward to
bean.
seeing you.
All right.